Hi there, welcome to Focus 15 Spanish with me, the Spanish Grammar Guy. I'm here to talk about all things Spanish grammar, make your life easier when learning Spanish. Today, I'm going to look at modal verbs. Modal verbs, what are they? Well, verbs that express an intention or a mood, and they're used with another verb that's in the infinitive to complete the sentence. Let's have a look. The modal verb will be conjugated, but the auxiliary verb it goes with is not. And there are 5 modal verbs in Spanish: soler, querer, deber, saber, and poder. So let's deal with each of them in turn with some examples. And then, as usual, at the end of this, there'll be some translations that you can practice. Okay, great. So let's have a look at soler. Soler translates roughly as to be accustomed to doing something or to usually do something. It expresses an habitual action in the present or in the past. And when it's used in the past, then it's used in the imperfect tense. But let's have a look at one example now in the present tense. Suele levantarse sin fuerzas, which roughly translates as he usually gets up with no energy or without energy. Or let's have a look at another one in the present tense. Suelo entrenar todos los días 2 horas. I usually train for 2 hours every day. So if we look at one now in the past tense, we use the imperfect tense of the verb soler. Solían visitarnos a menudo. They used to visit us often. Or they would usually visit us often. Something like that. Okay, so now let's look at querer. Querer normally translates as to want something, but it can have other meanings. We can use quisiera or querría to say I'd like, which are common in polite offers or requests. And in positive sentences, the preterite form, quiso, usually translates as tried to do something. Let's just have a look at this example here. Cuando quiso pararse, se cayó. When he tried to get up, he fell. Another example here, quisiera saber si, and this is in the polite form, I'd like to know if. Okay, let's now look at saber. So saber is used to express knowledge or the ability to do something. For example, I know how to speak Spanish. Yo sé hablar español. Okay? The next one, poder, translates as to be able to manage, can, may. It's used to express requests. For example, if you use it in the conditional, then it's more polite to say could you or would you. For example, you could say me podrían aclarar, which translates as something like could you explain? Or it's used to express possibility. For example, in the imperfect tense, we could say podía provocar, it could cause. It can translate may or can if you are talking about allowing or prohibiting something. Let's have a look at this sentence here. Me indicó que no podía hacer deporte. He told me that I could not do any sport. Or it can translate the idea of ability. No podía entenderle. I couldn't understand him or her, for example. Let's have a look at deber. So deber expresses obligation, translating as must, ought to, or should. For example, if we ask the question, ¿Qué debe hacer? We're asking, what must he or she do? Another example, me indicó que debía o debería seguir un tratamiento. He told me that I should follow a course of treatment. So in these examples, we can see that we can use the conditional of deber as well as the imperfect interchangeably. For example, deberías or debías ver un médico. You should or ought to see a doctor. Okay, so that's the rough ways of using the modal verbs. Let's do some translations now to practice. Here's the first one. Can you play the guitar? Okay, so this is asking if you have an ability to do something. So you've got to use the verb saber here. And the verb to play a musical instrument is tocar. Okay, if you need to pause the video to do the translation, here's the answer now. ¿Sabes tocar la guitarra? Okay, the next one. We usually spent the morning on the beach. So in this example, we're talking about an habitual action in the past, so we need to use the verb soler. Okay, here is the answer now. Solíamos pasar la mañana en la playa. Good. Another one. If you want to sunbathe, you should use a good sun cream. So we're talking here about something you must or should do. It's an obligation, some advice. Then we use deber. Okay, here's a translation now. Si quieres tomar el sol, debes usar un buen bronceador. Okay. Let's try another one. He used to work 10 hours a day. Okay, so which of the modal verbs should you use here? Let's have a look at the answer now. Solía trabajar 10 horas al día. Okay, yeah, you got it right, using soler. And the last one for now. Pepe, you should pay more attention. Again, this is an obligation, so you choose the right modal verb, and the answer would be Pepe, debes prestar más atención. Good, I hope you got some of those right, and I hope that helps explain those 5 modal verbs. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.